All right, the first practice question, the first fact situation in the practice exam. What did you check off? What issues did you check off? Come on, guys. I mean, I can just, I can send you, I can type out and send you an A+ answer, and you can compare it to your own test, and we can go home. All right? Or else I'll sit here and lecture for an hour. But I'm not gonna do the test for you. Tell me what you did.
Management.
All right, management. Check management. Huh? Forms of business. What else? Ethics.
Contracts.
Contracts.
Damages.
All right, damages. All right. You should take your cheat sheet and go through the test and check out everything that you see, and then go back and start answering them. Forms of business. What was the forms of business in this particular problem? Huh?
Partnership.
All right. Why did you choose partnership?
Because it was a husband and wife.
Say husband and wife. You have to do the 5 decision makers. As I was telling the other classes earlier this morning, if you pick form of business and that's all you picked, you pass. See, minus, 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 minus. But I've taught you to pick a form of business from a fact situation. Yes?
If it's already chosen, like such and such is a corporation, you don't have to do that, do you?
Well, I sometimes put that in there, okay? But I need you to say why it would be a corporation and not something else. I need you to say, this is already a corporation, and corporation would be the proper for this problem because they sell stock or sell money or liability or something. Okay? Don't just not talk about it. Okay, 5 decision makers. Capital. Ease. Control. Taxation. And liability. Now, you pass if you just check this. If you say it's a partnership and they need to do the 5 decision makers, well, that's a C+ or B- paper. If you go on to say this partnership reacts to the control, liability, and talks about why the partnership is appropriate and how it works with the 5 decision makers, that's working on an A paper. All right, what's next in the fact situation? Was management first?
Yes.
All right. So under management, we've got a new business, and that business needs to be managed. So we've got strategic or SWOT or situational. You would say this is a management issue, and these people need to do a SWOT and a strategic, not a situation. What else? It's a pretty hard question, so work through it. Line by line, work through it. economics is the economics, which is basically profit equals revenue minus expenses, GDP, CPI. What did you talk about in economics, Seth?
I talked about with their business going down,
Yeah.
with the other restaurants coming around.
Okay.
They needed to expand their revenue to track their expenses and increase their profit.
All right, good. I mean, this business is in danger, isn't it? I mean, the business is in trouble. So how do we get them out of trouble? We got to manage them. We maybe have to put it in a different form. Is there any ethical problems? What's the contract problem?
They got 10,000 in debt to some.
Okay, they're 10,000 in debt, and that's a breach of contract. They're supposed to be paying somebody. Can they pay them? No. All right. So, if they can't pay the contract, what happens? What comes next? If it can't pay the contracts, then you get a tort and you get litigation, right? But we don't want that. We don't want litigation, and we don't want to not pay the contracts. What do we want? We want protection. We want to save. So what do? File for bankruptcy. And what are our options? 7 and 11. What's 7? 7 is liquidation. 7 is we're going to close. And what's 11? Reorganization. And the trustee runs the restaurant. You don't have to pick one or the other. All right? As she says, we just have to decide that this company needs bankruptcy. They are in breach of a contract. They don't want to be sued. They don't want to go through litigation. Bankruptcy brings everything to a stop. Okay? Bankruptcy brings everything to a stop. So what you need to write for me in this question or in this fact situation, what you need to write for me is a business in trouble that you believe can be saved with a partnership, and how each one of these would work, that it would be saved with new management and a SWAT, that they are still in trouble with a contract that they can't pay, so they may end up having to go to bankruptcy and either close a restaurant or do a reorganization. This was not a difficult fact situation. It's just one that we hadn't spent a lot of time on. All right, it's one it doesn't have a long criminal or a long litigation. It's some pretty basic things. I wanted to give you a fact situation that made you check these things off, made you look at every one of them. They made you look at every one of them. On your final exam, both questions aren't necessarily going to be form of business and litigation questions. Okay? It could be any of the things that we've looked at. second? What do we have in the second fact situation?
Litigation.
Huh?
Litigation.
Litigation. What else?
Property.
Property. We have property up here. What else?
Contract.
Forms of business.
Huh?
Is it forms of business?
You think so, forms of business? Okay. So how do you start your answer out?
This is a form of business issue.
This is a form of business issue, and what's the form, what's the circumstances in this issue?
I think so, it was a partnership.
Okay.
And then you say you gotta tell why. You think it's a partnership.
It's a partnership. If I tell you what it is, then you need to tell me, is that a good form? You know, maybe it ought to be something else. If you leave it in a partnership, that's fine. It's a form of business issue, they're already a partnership, and that seems to be a good answer for them. If this is a partnership, but in looking at the 5 decision makers, a corporation might be better for this company. All right, so we've got a partnership, what else? What happens? What does the partnership do?
For this question, I think it was a corporation. Yeah, it's,
Huh?
we got the questions mixed up.
Oh, this was the corporation? Yeah, the first one was partnership. Okay. That's why you asked me about it earlier, wasn't it? Yeah, okay. So it's a corporation, you tell me, yeah, it's a corporation, seems like a good answer. What happens to the corporation?
12 of the members breach the contract.
Huh?
12 of the members, they break their contract with the company.
Okay. So there is a contract with labor, with the people in the corporation, and 12 breach the contract. What happens after that? What's a contract? Offer, acceptance, consideration. Contract is breached, so what happens? Huh?
It goes void.
Okay, the contract is void, and what happens? I'm sorry, y'all got to holler, okay?
Goes to litigation.
All right, you get litigation. This litigation is easy. Cause of action, I told you it's either going to be tort or breach of contract. So this one is breach of contract. What's the jurisdiction?
Would it be federal, but it's too significant?
Huh?
It says,
Federal?
yeah, federal.
Okay. Who's the plaintiff?
Corporation, XYZ.
All right. Corporation XYZ. Who are the defendants? 12 employees. File a complaint, file an answer, file a counterclaim, file a reply. And what are these called?
Pleadings.
Pleadings. And because we have pleadings, what's next?
Discovery.
Discovery. You cannot have the discovery without the pleadings. Now, if you simply say, because of pleadings, we're going to have discovery, that's good. That's a B paper, all right? An A paper is we're going to have discovery, and discovery is by deposition or interrogatory. Because of discovery, what do we have? Because we have discovery, what comes next? Trial? Alternative dispute. Alternative dispute resolution. It's important that you say that. That is a legal term. And then you have negotiation, mediation, and then if contract, then arbitration. If no contract, trial. That's as far as you need to take it. You don't need to take it to trial. What else? Anything else?
Well, they done property.
All right, what about the property?
There's a real property issue.
Okay.
Just need to look through the property picture.
What was the real property description? Has to be good for 70 years. The grantor sells to the grantee by deed. Yes.
Where's it get real property? It has to say it's been, the description's been there for 70 years.
Yes. The same description.
Same description.
Yeah. Otherwise, you know, for 20 years, it's the same 100 acres, 100 acres, 100 acres, and then you find a deed that says 99 acres. Okay, well, in that case, you have to go back and find that acre. It could be a typo, it could be somebody gave it to their brother or something. All right, if y'all are on campus Wednesday, come back to class. I see too many blank faces. All right, I mean either I'm gonna have 49 A pluses or I'm gonna have 49 C's because y'all are looking at me like it's the first time you've ever heard this stuff. And this is nothing that we hadn't gone over before. Just this practice test was a little more difficult than the ones we've done before. You know, you've got 6 and 7 issues in each fact situation. Just don't think that every fact situation is going to have a form of business and then 2 other issues. I mean, when you graduate, you can look up everything on the board, but you can't look up what's up here, okay? Because you don't know what they are. So I'm choosing the issue is what I'm teaching you. You can Wikipedia what a contract is, but to know that a fact situation is a contract issue is an educated person. All right, y'all have a good Thanksgiving.